We have right now about 35 editors, I believe about 8 to 10 assistant editors, all accessing the media, all able to see everything, and they're all remote. I don't think there's any other production that hits the Avid hardware and software nearly as hard as we do. My name's Robert Michael Malachowski Jr., ACE. I'm the supervising editor on the Emmy-nominated series called The Voice. The thing I enjoy about The Voice the most is it's always a challenge. I was the first editor hired on it 14 years ago, and I've been on every episode. So that's 645 episodes and over 1,000 hours of broadcast programming over the last 14 years. Every season, while it's the same mainstay kind of things happening on a shiny stage, it's a different artist every single act. It's different artists throughout the entire season. I find it interesting getting into people's individual lives, but also being able to give them an aspirational type television show where they really want to aspire and they're inspired to be on and show who and what they want to be. And being part of that is really kind of special. I feel like I'm actually in a person's life and adding to it because of what we do on the show. The reason why we chose this episode, which is the Battles premiere, is that it actually showcases a lot more different sections of our show beyond the shiny floor stage. We get to see them in rehearsal. We get to see them pairing the artists up. We get to see more of the discussions. And it feels more like an honest, edited show rather than what our live shows are, which people will confuse us with. They'll think that we're just editing the packages. This is an episode that is from first to last second, completely edited by our editors. Even those performances are heavily edited, considered, and part of the story. The main reason why we chose this episode was to showcase the power of editing. The thousands of hours that come into our bays all get put together inside of this one episode. And you're seeing scenes and sequences beyond the shiny floor show. You're seeing the behind the scenes. You're seeing more into the artists than you saw in the blind auditions. It's a continuation of the story, and it's only possible through the work of the editors. I'm usually in the office 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and especially on Emmy morning, and I happen this year to be watching the telecast. And the way I found out that we got nominated was I actually got a call from one of my editors saying, "Is this right?" And I'm like, "Is what right?" And he's like, "We got nominated." And I'm like, "No, they're still announcing all of the big categories. They haven't posted the editor categories because they usually do that like 10 to 15, 20 minutes after the telecast is done." And actually, that editor was right. They had posted it early. So this was the first time that instead of me sending an email out to my editors congratulating them, I got the call. That was the first time I had actually received the call letting me know I had been nominated. It was absolutely fantastic. Making any episode of The Voice work is a challenge because of the nature of the show. We have so many artists. In a 2-hour episode, we're introducing between 13 to 15 new characters, if you will. We're working with that many editors on each of the different packages. Each story needs to have a life of its own. But we don't want the show to go down the road looking like the Partridge Family bus with all the different colors. We have to have some type of uniform feel to it that still, when you turn it on, you recognize the voice for what it is and the show for what it is. So making sure that we're giving enough individuality to each one of the packages to showcase each artist individually, as well as maintaining a high level of editorial status and making sure that the editors are also as creative as possible, but without somebody going nuts on us. That's probably one of the largest challenges. The network can also come in and be like, "Hey, we've taken a look at the entire episode. We've got too many sad stories. We might want to kind of shift it around." And we can do that. There's a lot of last minute changes that affect a lot of things from the timing of the entire episode. We can pull one artist out of the first act, put them in a completely different episode, bring in another one, but that act is now 5-6 minutes shorter or longer. So there's a lot of moving components that by the time we get down to the very last week of locking, we're still able to change the show to make sure that we've got the best episode. So that's the largest challenge that we have. The major advantage of us using Avid is we start and finish everything in the Avid. From offline to Final Online to color, everything is done inside of that. We have right now about 35 editors. I believe about 8 to 10 assistant editors. I think another dozen producers and story producers, all accessing the media, all able to see everything, and they're all remote. And I don't mean we have some in Burbank and we have some in LA. We have people in North Carolina, we have people in Virginia, we've had people in Maine, we've had people in Japan, we've had people all over the world working on our show. Being able to have one unified program that handles all of that has been absolutely beneficial and the cornerstone of us being on the air. I don't think there's any other production that hits the Avid hardware and software nearly as hard as we do. It gets us what we need and gives us the communication ability across the board. Play as much as you can, with as many tools as you can, with as much video as you can. Every single project you have is going to lead you to your next, and you're going to improve. You're going to suck at the beginning. You're going to get better. You're going to have bad projects. They're going to get better. But play. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, get out.